We want you to know that it doesn't matter where you are. You can put your boat in the stream any place. It doesn't matter. You might be putting your boat in the stream at sickness. You might be putting your boat in the stream at not enough money. You might be putting your boat in the stream at brink of a financial disaster or brink of a marital disruption. You could be putting your boat in the stream with physical sickness that you are experiencing, or your awareness of someone else. In other words, there are all kinds of reasons that you feel the way you do. Wherever you're putting your boat in the stream, it does not matter, because in every single case, the stream is moving toward the improvement that you seek. The stream is moving toward the solution to the problem. It's moving toward the answer to the question. It's moving to the becoming of who you are. The stream is undeniable. It is always moving, and it won't stop moving toward that which you are. So it doesn't matter where you are. In fact, we think it is very helpful to realize that you are where you are relative to any subject of importance to you. And if you can sort of make peace with where you are, there's this thing that happens to you as you put your boat in the stream mentally. If you say, all right, the stream is flowing and it's going to be all right, there is an automatic releasing of resistance and a turning and moving toward improvement. But if you put your boat in the stream with the attitude, I'm not where I should be, you automatically turn upstream. If you put your boat in the stream and say, I should have known better, upstream you go. I should do better, upstream you go. Even if you put your boat in the stream and you say, I'm going to try really hard, upstream you go. Feel the difference between, I have a sickness and I'm going to find a way to heal myself, upstream, 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 and I am where I am. My physical body isn't where I want it to be, but it's going to get better. Or I am where I am, and I want things to be better. Feel the difference between, I'm going to make this happen, upstream, and I'm going to allow the resources of the universe to help me work this out, downstream. It does not matter where anyone is relative to anything that they want, because these things are always true. Everything that you are living has caused you to ask for more, and that more is already accomplished vibrationally. You just got to chill out. You just got to relax. You just got to let go. You've just got to stop trying so hard. You've just got to stop defending why you want it by explaining how bad it is without it. Every time you're justifying or defending or rationalizing, you're pointing upstream. Even Esther, with all that she hears from us, sometimes will get stuck on the rightness of an issue rather than how the thought she's thinking feels. She'll say, oh, come on, Abraham, you got to give me this one. You know I'm right. You know that what happened here was wrong. You know that that should not have been that way. And we say, we're sure you could poll most of the world, and much of the world would agree with you. Maybe even more would agree with you than would disagree with you. Maybe almost all would agree with you, but it doesn't make any difference. Rightness is not the issue. Alignment is the issue. And every time you push against anything, you are depriving yourself of what you want. There is a war against cancer, a war against drugs, a war against terrorism, a war against poverty, a war against, and every one of them getting bigger. Because you cannot push against what you do not want and be a vibrational match to what you do want. They are two opposite ends of the stick. When you pick up the stick that says money, on one end of it is plenty of money, on the other end of it is not nearly enough money, and the end of the stick with plenty of money feels entirely different than the end of the stick with not enough money. And you got to know that the way you feel when you activate the thought of money is your indication of which end of the stick you're on, you see. There are so many things that you want somebody else to do something so that you can feel better. And we say, friends, you got to give that up. You're living a very conditional love. You're saying, that condition feels good to me and that condition feels bad to me. So make that condition more like that condition and then I'll feel better. And we say, what you're doing is sort of sloppy thinking. You're saying, I don't want to ever have to deliberately direct my thoughts. I want somebody to figure out how to control the world so that I can just sort of sloppily look around and most of what I see will make me feel good. And we say, that isn't what you want at all. You want the variety, and you want the discipline to turn your thoughts toward those things that are a vibrational match to who you really are. You want to use your willpower. You want to use your determination. You want to use your resources, your faculties. You want to use your valor. You want to use everything that you've got girded up. You want to use that toward directing thought. If you will direct your thought toward the things that feel good, you will have not a problem in the world. You cannot have a problem and a solution at the same time. You got one or the other. Which are you beating the drum of? Problem on one of the sticks, solution on the other. Which way are you pointed? Which way are you feeling for? And so many of you, for some reason or another, have become so defensive in your competitive feeling of those who surround you that it seems as if you need to defend why you want something by pointing out the perils of not having it. And that is the biggest trap that we see happening, especially in your culture today. In your culture today, you have no legitimate excuse for negative emotion. Well-being is abounding in such significant proportion to not well-being that you really have to reach hard to find things to focus negatively upon in terms of the scope of the world. And yet it seems to be the orientation, because you've sort of been trained by your mother or father, who you thought was the resource through which all of your good flowed, that unless you plead a needy case, they won't give up the goods. You're not pleading your needy case to the universe. You're simply extracting from the variety your choice of what you prefer, and the source energy immediately becomes the vibrational equivalent of your preference. And if you're not living it in full-blown manifestation, it's only because what's active within you is something other than your preference. You must be talking about something other than what you want, or you would be living everything that you want. You have to start telling a different story. You have to tell the story the way you want it to be, not the way it is. You have to tell the story with the solution emphasized, not the problem. You have to stop complaining and start appreciating. You have to explain it the way you want it to be, not the way it has been. You have to speak of things as you would like them to be. And in all of this, what we're really saying is, just from where you stand, reach for the best feeling thought that you can find. Don't try to mimic the bright sunshine lollipop, tuned in, tapped in, turned on, annoying rainbow sunshine lollipop, rainbow good feeling people. They just drive you crazy, don't they? Don't try to mimic them. Just try to feel as good as you can feel from where you are, because where you are is valid. Where you are is the stream. Jerry and Esther went whitewater rafting last summer, and it was such a glorious day. And the first thing they noticed as they put their raft in the water, there were 6 of them that came together to play, and then dozens of other high school wrestlers that were in the other boats. But as they put their boats in the water, it did not occur to any of them to turn and paddle against the current. It was so obvious to them that this river was going to have its way with them. And the first thing their river guide said to them is, folks, this is not Disneyland, and we cannot turn this river off. And he made a very good point. This is the same point we want to make to you. You can't turn that river off. You cannot hold yourself against the current of what life has caused you to become. And when you try, you don't feel good. And when you let go, you feel ever so much better. So, let's go. Some things you want to talk about? Good, 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 good. So much you want to talk about. You must understand that this gathering happened before you dragged your physical bodies here. That your life has caused you to send forth your rockets. The source within you has met those rockets. And the answers to everything that you want are all queued up for you. So this will be a magnificent unfolding.